Because something I wanted to touch on was because, obviously you went through a time when, you went through really bad anxiety and you were in depression, right? And do you find that at that time, because we were talking about how, like, how powerful the word is and what you speak, like reflecting back on that time, do you feel like you were very outspokenly, negative and buried yourself in your thoughts of like anxiety and depression?
Like back then when I was going through it, yeah, I was like, I don't know how to explain it. I felt like I was possessed, like by a demon. Like when at that point in my life, I don't know how to explain it. I was so like negative and like I don't know how to explain it. I used to just think the craziest things. I don't know. I felt like a freaking weirdo.
Yeah.
Back then, like I it's like so weird to say. I started really struggling when I was 16. I had my first little like love, like high school thing, and she died.
Right. I heard you say that on your video, which is absolutely heart-wrenching.
If you don't mind me asking, how did she pass away?
So she had like a seizure. She said she was feeling sick and stuff like that, and then she had a seizure, had to go to the ICU, and I think she had that thing like septic shock or something. I guess like I think what happened, what I remember was that maybe she had like a UTI that was left untreated, and maybe the infection spread.
Oh no.
That could happen like that?
Oh yeah, because it goes to, it goes, you don't treat it, it goes to your kidney, and then your kidney, that's why you bleed when you pee, and then and then it's just like this whole,
It gets to your blood and then you're done.
Oh my God.
So I'm pretty sure it was something like that. And like that was the first time I experienced like, because again, I grew up very lonely. So having like someone who was feeding into me, especially with women, I always had issues just because me and my mom don't have like the best relationship, but like whatever. So and seeing her go, I was so mad at like God, at like everything. And I think that's what like started separating me away from God for a minute, because I grew up kind of a little Christian. And I was so pissed because like I was like, damn, the one time something good comes into my life that I can relate to, it like gets taken away. And I had like anger issues like crazy. I used to try to like fight people. I would like send people like death threats, and like I was like messed up. I was so that got me into lifting though. So I started working out after that.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but like the pivotal, like sending death threats to like, I just started wanting to work out instead of murdering everybody I see. It's like, great. I'm glad you pivoted.
I used to like look at people in public and just be like guys, and if I thought that they were like looking at me or talking to me, I would like immediately just get angry. It was weird. I used to have like problems.
We were going through a really dark time. And certainly, I mean, when you're 16 and you feel like you found your first love, like when you're 16, things are like life or death. The way that you feel things, like
you're you're like, it's times two, because like you don't know anything else other than that. So I got through that, and then I was just mad lonely in high school. I never, given the respect I had for my father, like I never got into like drinking, drugs. Like all my best friends were like the biggest drug dealers in like the county. So like I would hang out with them maybe, but then as soon as they start, I would leave. So I was very isolated, and I just played like a bunch of video games and lifted, and I was extremely isolated from that. And then I had a point where my dad's like girlfriend moved in with her kids, and I hated her. Probably shouldn't say I did not like her at all though. I felt she was just freeloading.
Are they still together?
No. She was just freeloading off my dad, and I felt even more isolated. I just locked myself in my room, because then I felt isolated from my dad at that point in my life. So then it was like I had nothing other than video games and going to the gym.
Damn. And this is right around the same time?
This was like 16 to 18 was.
So you had nobody in your life? The guy that was there was like catering to another woman?
Yeah.
And the woman that you were
catering to. But he was broken. That was the thing. No,
I know that. No, I know that. I know that. Yeah.
He was like, me and my dad are very close, and I hope if my mom listens to this, she's going to send me some text messages. But like basically, so she cheated on my dad, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know your mom was even in the picture. Are you close with her now?
Not really. Again, if she like, I already know she's gonna be calling. I don't really talk to her that much, and she's just gonna get pissed if I even bring it up. But I like being vulnerable. I like how people always ask me like what happened in my childhood that made it like that. But I think that's so that happened, and my dad was distraught, obviously. And so I see why he like rebounded to like a very low class woman. And he was putting a lot into her. I think it's because he had a void that he had to fill. So I don't blame him for that. But I was pretty messed up during that time too, because I felt even isolated from him, because I hated that woman that he brought in. And then I didn't find out the reasons for like why the divorce happened until I was like 18. So I like resented my dad for a minute, because I didn't know what was happening in the divorce and stuff.
Wow, that's actually really. I love your dad because he didn't tell you your mom did that.
Yeah.
He wanted you to still look at your mom with respect.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
That
it
should
was a good
show
thing.
the integrity that your father has.
Yeah. So
How's your relationship with your mom now? Like, are you guys on talking basis? Are you guys...
every once in a while, but like it's something I definitely need to work on. I've lost after learning all the things and then dealing with the relationship with me and her afterwards. I just lost a lot of respect for her for ruining the family because I don't have one memory of like a good happy family, which is like messed up. And when I had like anxiety and depression like really bad, I used to like have anger like when I saw families in like like Ocean City or something, like if I saw families, I would get so angry. Or if I saw my friends having like a happy family, I would get so angry. Like I would just hate it. I hated it like so much. And then I like because I wanted that and I didn't get to experience that, and I like blame my mom for it. So that's like, but she's still like, I'll talk to her and stuff like that. I just like seeing what she did to my dad and me being so close to my dad now. I don't I like definitely resent her for it, and we talk about that. And like she hates when I mention her and like any of my life story stuff, because like she thinks that I'm painting her out to be a bad person. I'm like, oh, my coworkers are gonna watch this. But like the truth of the matter is that she did that and she ruined the family, which placed a lot of like, I think that's why I was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like growing up was because I like had that void.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
As a friend, would you like me to involve myself in this situation? Because I do have points of views I would like to share with you, but it seems to me like it is a very touchy subject with you.
No, I'm good. I just know she's gonna get pissed. She's gonna be calling my dad up or me when she finds out about it. But I don't care.
I think the overwhelming that you're feeling is kind of in your control, bro. And I hope you fast and you pray about this, but I think regardless of what your mother did, cheated or not cheated, she's still your mother.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know
and
that.
how your Father in heaven is going to be honoring you is regardless of her sins, that's not your decision on how you treat her.
Yeah.
So honoring your mom even when she doesn't feel like she's worth the honoring is a difference in God's eyes.
Yeah. I know that, and I just like hate even thinking about it. So I try to just like ignore it
that's
until
your
I hear
big
her call me again, and then I like just try to ignore her calls until I can't anymore. And like it's just stuff like I don't know.
That's gonna be your biggest mountain. You know, literally in the Bible verse that we read today, it says, if you believe, you will tell this mountain to get up and move in front of you. Mm-hmm. That's your big mountain. That's the mountain that you're like, I'm never even going to try to attempt to climb.
Yeah, I don't even entertain it.
And I've said this analogy so many times, so I'm going to speed right through it. But remember, Lazarus was risen from the dead. And when Jesus cried in that moment, it wasn't because that...
Jesus wept.
He wept because they didn't believe that they could fix something that was irreplaceable. And so you got to move that stone so something beautiful could come back to life. Yeah. Now, however your mom did or what she did or how she treated the family and broke it, regardless, it's his will be done, right? So she took sin and broke the home, but God built his rock on you, right? So look what he's provided. So God's saying, one of your parents failed you, but I haven't failed you.
Correct.
And look at your fruit. So go and forgive. So that way you could build that family that you got so mad that the devil ripped away from you, that you have the authority. God gave you the ability to restore and make it new. But you don't want to make it new.
Yeah, because I just don't entertain it. I just like I always think about not having a situation. Just like thinking one day I will have like a family to like live it through my kids.
You have a family.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like the thing is my dad doesn't like her at all either, so it doesn't help. They can't be in the same room. He's angry
because he's looking at his son and what it's done to his son.
Yeah,
I don't think he's sitting around waiting for his wife or ex-wife to say, "Hey, I'm sorry that I had monogamy issues." I think he would care more what happened to you, bro. That's why he didn't tell you what happened in the situation until you're 18.
What's crazy is like he didn't want me to have to go through a divorce, so he lived with it. Like they lived on separate sides of our house while she was still going out.
So he's worried about you, bro. He's not worried about him.
From like, it was crazy. I don't know how he did it. He thugged it out. I ain't gonna lie.
Think about that. Would you want to live in the same house that another woman laid in bed with him?
No, I don't know how he went crazy.
He did it for you. So if he could see his son stand above and rise with the will of God and the might of God to forgive his mother on an occasion that he's made very clear that has burdened his life. Now imagine what God's going to do when this whole world sees you forgive a woman. That's your biggest hurdle. You're now showing people that they could do it too. It's your actions. It's not your words.
No, it's a good point.
I know you're angry with your
I'm
mom.
happy to revisit it.
This is what I would say. If you're going to do the fasting situation, I would pray and ask God to forgive you first. Before you get to your mom, forgive you. Forgive those evil thoughts you probably had about your mom.
Yeah.
Forgive the way you spoke to your mom.
The way I treat her now.
Yeah. Ask him to forgive you first. And then ask him to invite himself into your heart and help be able to look at this situation from his point of view. Because his point of view is not your point of view. And right now you want to punish and show as an example to the world of what your mother did. But I promise you, bro, your mom, regardless of how you feel, loves you.
Yeah,
and when she made this mistake, she didn't think it was going to castrate your life.
I just feel like she still doesn't genuinely feel sorry about it. That's why, like, I feel like that's why I haven't, because like she's still like, there's a lot of issues there, like that are I probably won't say.
The forgiveness isn't for her.
Yeah,
It's for you.
I know it's because it's frustrating, and I think like it's frustrating having an adult in your life when you feel like they're the adult and they're the ones who should like be the ones to come to me and maybe apologize. And it's frustrating like seeing that like the adult doesn't have the wisdom, but she maybe just doesn't have the wisdom that you might have from God to realize, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the situation. But trust me, from my own experience, like I have that only my different way. It's difficult just feeling like you're the adult in this situation and the adult's not coming to you to have that conversation, to hash things out and to talk it through. So it's definitely a really difficult thing. But as you said, if you can kind of have that conversation maybe someday, even just for yourself and for like your future family, then I think that, yeah, it would be something, you know?
Yeah. I hate when she'll like call me and be like tell me that I'm like how are you gonna be Christian in this, and you won't even I hate when she brings that stuff up. See, you and your dad always with your Christian stuff, but you won't even give the time to talk to me anymore. So I know I got to work on that.
So check this out. That's actually a great fair point. So the devil intervened and used your weaponry against you, right? So she comes up to you, she goes, "Why would I look at you? You go and preach, but you won't even forgive me on a mistake, and you go out and you tear my name down." Now hear me out. It takes two to tango. We don't know. I don't know, and I know you don't know, but we don't know what was in her heart when she made that decision.
Yeah.
And I don't think you ever cared to even ask. And I'm not saying what she did was right, bro. No way near it. In fact, I could agree with you that I know that everything you went through was because of her actions. 100%. I'll never take that away from you.
Yeah.
But what I could take away from you is that crutch that you're leaning on to be like, well, it was her decision, not mine. Forgiveness is always in your hands.
Correct.
Now, that is your mom, and that is the one that broke you in this point of view. But imagine how proud your Father in heaven would be and how absolutely wrecked the devil would be when you stand before all three of them, your mother, God, and Satan, and you say, "Hey, I forgive you. Let's try to build
Tommy.
Imagine how it's going to be when you say, "I forgive you." Now let's rebuild that home that you broke.
Yeah.
And then you guys build it. Now, there's a huge part of you that's like, yeah, right, dude, they can't even talk to each other. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to look. But there is a possibility, regardless of how you feel, that family could be whole again. But it all stems from how you want to attack it.
Yeah.
And I know you're like, no
I
way.
was looking for Joey because like Joey would know like if my parents in the same room, like we just like him or my manager, which is uncle, would just like they'll mess with my dad and be like like saying jokes about my mom, like you should get back together with Debbie and stuff like that, and they go because like he does not like he gets so mad.
No, dude,
bring it up.
I guarantee you his pain comes from what he watched his son go through. That's why he lived with that girl for however long.
Lost
And I don't think
lot.
it's for you to fix. It's not for you to fix their relationship together, but yours with her. You know what I mean?
I disagree with you. The Bible doesn't say be peace keepers. He says be peace makers.
Yeah.
So it is if you do pick up that cross, which sometimes hurts, when you pick up that cross and you're telling these people out there being like, yo, you need to rise above it, you also need to rise above it.
Yeah.
This is a huge thing. And bro, we just met. I know people in your life that's probably been in your life for your whole life probably would never have the balls to tell you this. But I'm telling you this because I love you and I want you to succeed in life. And you can't keep having this on your shoulders. You got to give it to God. And if you're going to give it to God, you got to first apologize and then move Christ-like. What she did, evil. But you can't put out fire with fire, bro. You can't.
Yeah, no, that's
it's impossible.
That's true.
I think you'll be a lot more in peace. And I think once you handle that, I think when you are blessed and have your own family, all of these teachings of what you saw your parents go through or the situations you had to rise above, it's going to make, you said, you pray to God, you go, God, I want a beautiful family. Like I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be faithful. I want it to be in your light. I want them to be eating the fruits from your garden. But that can't happen unless you are planting the way that he wants you to reap and sow.
You know what's crazy is freshly after, like when I was going through like the anxiety, depression stuff, like I wanted the family more than anything because I thought it would like fulfill it. But like I used to like obsess over like wanting to have like a family, like get married early, like young. And then like now I'm like the opposite. Like I don't care if I get married anymore. I like my whole idea of like it would be cool, but like I don't even think about it. Like I don't obsess over it like I used to. My like ideal life is, make as much from the social media stuff I can to where me and my dad can build our dream house on the farm and just buy and sell cars for the rest of my life.
You keep saying that, bro, and you're putting your blessings in your future. Because you're waiting for a moment in time where your bank account looks a certain way, where you're like, okay, I'm free now. And this is why in the beginning I say people worship two things, either God or money. And so right now your actions are showing that you trust more in financing to set you free than God. But God will give you more opportunity than money could even presently buy. There's a lot of things right now in my life, like my dog. There's no money in the world that you could put like, hey, sacrifice your dog. That's my dog.
Yeah.
That's just a dog, bro. Think about that. Money ain't shit. Money is not shit. So when you're waiting around for things to start working out when you have money, I promise you, bro, you will never be blessed financially.